Good evening, Pulau Vinaka, Namaste. Tonight, Good evening, Pulau Vinaka, Namaste. Tonight on Your Voice, we explore how digital transformation, e-governance, and artificial intelligence could change the way Pacific Island nations deliver services and grow their economies. Joining me is KV Sun, a seasoned entrepreneur with over 35 years of experience in ICT and digital innovation across the Pacific and beyond. Pulau Vinaka, Mr. Sun, and thank you for being here tonight.
Okay, Pulau Vinaka, and thank you for having me here.
Our viewers are interested in finding out the work that you do. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Okay, I started my digital journey as an entrepreneur way back in the 1990s when the internet started coming out. You know what's called the internet boom. But prior to that, I was in the I was very much in the computers, mobile phones. When mobile phones were the size of, I don't know, a giant screen, big rock,
right?
Like, yeah. And today they are tiny, right? Okay, so I've been interested in technology for a very, very long time, and when the internet boom came, I saw an opportunity to engage and look at it very differently and put out, the technology to the public. So in 1997, 98, we started one of Asia's first e-commerce companies, and we were fairly successful from a 5-man startup to a 200-person setup, and we had our office at Silicon Valley. So we kind of grew it, and eventually, we sold it and moved on. Yeah. So that's my background.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, great. We've always talked about how the internet have grown over the years. I understand that you've not only worked in Fiji, you've worked with the Mauritius and even Vietnam. How do you see digital transformation reshaping small island states like ours here in the Pacific?
All right. Very, very interesting question. First of all, there's a lot of excitement about digital transformation, and my opinion is that many people, especially the leaders, see the technology, digital innovation, especially what goes on through the internet, as a tool, as an opportunity to expand their economic opportunities, to bring in investors, and also to move their goods beyond the Pacific, and also as an opportunity to grow capacity for the people. Right. So yeah, there's huge opportunity, and I agree with that, all of that. Yes.
So basically, the biggest opportunities that you would say that Pacific Island countries have when it comes to digital transformation is how they can use the internet to boost or to attract investors and market what they have. Is that right?
Yes, that's one of the key areas. Another key thing is that because the adoption of technology for government and the overall society is relatively low compared to the more advanced economies of the world, it doesn't mean that you are backward, but it means that you have an opportunity to leapfrog. If I may, I give you an example. Right? Okay. Yep. In the early 2000s, we saw the emergence of fintech. Right? Now, fintech actually grew from the Africa region, where they saw financial inclusion was something necessary to help the economy grow, right? And because the technology at that time was very expensive, banks were exclusive, they couldn't reach out to many areas. So the African became a hub for innovation of new ideas, and transaction of banking through SMS started from there. In fact, M-Pesa started from Africa, and the word is borrowed now to today in Fiji, right? And it has become kind of keyword for us that we use very
often.
Yeah, very often. So what I'm trying to say here is that the opportunity to find something unique within the Fijian and the Pacific economy is something that can come from the Pacific people, and with that leapfrog, in the digital adoption to the rest of the world. So the opportunity is there. What is it? Is something that maybe we can talk about, but it's more for Fijian community, the government, the innovators to explore and to find out. Yeah.
And you've worked well with the Fijian government in creating these innovations for the government. You can tell us what are those innovations that you work closely with the Fijian government on that?
Yeah, thanks. In 2017 was my first time I landed in Fiji. And of course, besides grog and kava, which I got attracted to quite easily, I also got attracted to the enthusiasm and the will to adopt technology in a very strategic way. So in 2017, I came here as the program director for the digital transformation, which was later renamed as Digital Fiji. So for a few years, I led what is called the fundamental foundational initiatives that allowed the Fiji government today to do a lot more services, like Business Now Fiji, which I'm also very much involved in. My company runs the program office together with the Fiji government. I'm also, my capacity is the advisor to the program. Yeah, so, and these are not my ideas alone. These are ideas that came together with the Fijian people to say, let's build something. Let's take something that we can look at a 5, 10, 20 year ahead. Right. So not small pieces, but really foundation pieces. And I really admire this thinking from the Fijian government. And when we can see the results of it now. Yeah, so I was happy to be part of this whole program.
So you saw the opportunities, and there were others as well with you. So you delve into it, and now that has become fruitful because the government is able to provide efficient services to the people. So where do you see Fiji where do you think Fiji currently stands in terms of its digital transformation journey?
I would say it's advanced, compared to the whole Pacific and even to many countries that I work in. Advanced in the sense that because your foundational initiatives are very much in place, and because of that, you're able to grow. For example, the project I'm working right now is Business Now Fiji. I'm not the spokesperson for the government, so I can't speak on the project, but I can share some elements like, the application that is available now is what is called starting a business. Anyone can go and start the business, apply for your TIN, FMPF, NFA, up to 8 agencies, online on a single platform. That's a very interesting approach, right? Because the thinking was to have a platform ecosystem. So once you do this, more and more services can come in. So in the next few months, you will see services to enable online application of building permits. And after that, more and more applications come in easily on that platform. So in the long run, you're saving money, and you're also enabling capacity to be built. And I'm really quite excited to be working with to work together with the Fiji government on this project. So yeah, so the foundational thinking is something that the Fijian government has taken on very strongly. In fact, they have taken on and do a lot of things on their own, and I really admire that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Sun. We will just go on a short break. When we return, we will continue discussion. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us tonight on Your Voice. I'm Apini Sawangarandobu, and I'm here with Mr. KV Sun. He is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 35 years of experience in ICT and digital innovation. Again, sir, thank you for being here this evening.
Welcome.
You had talked about the fact of trying to bridge the gap in how we provide service to the people, even particularly in the business community. Maybe if you can tell us, if you had to pick one area for immediate digital investment in Fiji, what would it be and why?
I think first of all, there are many areas we like to grow. I like to look at capacity building as one of it. And what area of capacity building? There will be a lot of people who are going to talk about, I've got this program to share with you, right? But if I take a step back and try to understand the process of digital transformation. The process of digital transformation starts with looking at how we do things, your process, right? one of the reasons why we have been fairly successful in implementing good systems is we looked at the process first, then we redesign the process, right? Redesign means it may take today 5 steps to get one thing done to another thing. Like I offer a service, I have to do 5 things or 8 things to get things done. Redesigning means how do you look at it to make it shorter? 3 steps, 2 steps, 1 steps, right? Then we put in the technology to automate that 3 steps to be fast. A lot of people look at their 8 steps. Let me put a technology to make the 8 steps faster. So I call that to automate an inefficiency, right? So in terms of capacity building, one of the things we need to learn is how do we understand and the whole idea of process innovation, process redesign. So these are very fundamental and basics. The whole idea of technology sometimes gives us a little illusion. We need to learn about technology. But the first thing is we need to learn about processes, you know, so innovation in process. If I can give a bit of example, like for example, Amazon, you know Amazon, right? It's a simple process of going to a shop and buy something, but they look at the process and they're able to shorten it and use technology to buy something online right now, right? So today, many other companies, such even your VT card, have come up with online. So that is process innovation, process disruption, if you like it. So we need to think about that, and the first level of capacity building is to learn about process optimization, process redesign. So that's first thing.
So it requires a lot of studying before you finally go and decide that, okay, this needs to be implemented. When you came into Fiji in 2017, did you see that as an issue here, whereby process innovation was not properly looked into before the developments of any new innovation?
Like in many countries, you know, that tried to do digital transformation, they tried to buy solutions, build apps. There was one country I visited, I shall not mention name. The government called me in, not Fiji, right? The government called me in and says, Mr. Soon, we are very innovative. We are running a competition for agencies to build applications. And then so they end up with 250 applications online. What this means is that this means as a citizen, I need to go in and out
of all
these applications, right? So which means instead of driving to one place to another and submit my document, I have to log in, log out, log in, submit again, same information.
It's almost the same as going to those
name,
places.
Address, phone number, log out, submit again. It becomes so tiring, right? That's why I said, and then I told the chief secretary, I said, let's rethink this whole process. So that's why we come back to capacity building. We need to learn these processes. We are not learning enough. We are driven by the excitement of technology. Don't be driven by the excitement of technology. Okay, be motivated, be inspired to change, right? And this doesn't apply to governments alone. It also applies to companies. When companies want to invest in technology, think about their processes, how they are doing things, how do they improve it.
Right. Mr. Soon, you run a very successful business and a consulting company as well, if I'm correct, the Endeavor. For that business, you've maybe you can tell us what are some of the key lessons that you've learned from implementing e-governance projects in other countries.
Thank you for a very interesting question. But I'd like to make a little correction in the statement. I wouldn't like to use the word successful. We are still growing. And what makes it grow is that we have learned to fail, right? We have learned to make mistakes. We have learned to climb back up. You know, we thought when we go to the customer, this is what customer needs. We're gonna use our approach, capacity building, and suddenly, oh no, this is not what they need. So being able to listen, being able to understand, and being able to engage was something that we have learned over the years. And as an entrepreneur, you know, if I may speak to more entrepreneurs listening to this program, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Re-engage and constantly build yourself. Just like the technology innovation space, our company innovation space is constantly growing as well, and we are very aware of that. Yeah.
Well, I think the entrepreneurs joining us this evening are going to be really interested in this topic, because they are seeing someone who is behind some of these developments that's happening at the government level when it comes to technology. What are some of the common pitfalls governments face when rolling out digital services, and how do you think they can better improve it?
Okay. Some pitfalls. Number one, technology comes first. Is a pitfall. Okay, so a lot of people are interested with the technology and say, let's see what the technology can do. No. Number two, I have money. Okay, or someone is funding me, I've got money. Let's see what technology we can do. So that's the other pitfall. I would say my advice to governments and even companies, anyone who wants to include technology, the question is, ask yourself, what problem do you want to solve with the implementation of new technologies? Not what technology I have and I'll look for problems to solve. So to me, that's the biggest challenge. I wouldn't say it's an issue, but biggest challenge that we need to overcome. Yeah.
And it's not about the money. It shouldn't be about the money every time. It should be about what problem are you trying to solve before creating that technology. Thank you, Mr. Sun. We will go on another break. When we return, we will discuss further on this topic. Pulo Vinaka once again, and thank you for joining us tonight on Your Voice. I'm here with Mr. KV Sun. Again, sir, a great pleasure having you this evening in the studio. Now we'll talk about a very important topic that has recently come on board globally around the world, which is AI. Maybe you can tell us about how can AI help Pacific Island governments provide better and more inclusive services to their people? Okay,
thank you. Very interesting question. When I say very interesting question, I'm thinking a little bit about the question. Okay, let's look at AI first. AI would definitely help in governments and even companies to help improve their services, but we need to understand AI enough to implement it strategically. Okay. Now, first thing is the AI that we see today, the generative AI of ChatGPTs and of the GPT technology. It is still very new. It is in its infancy, I would say, and it's not. I shall say maybe it has a lot of room to evolve to be a very solid technology. So we are seeing very early stages. Okay, so it's not a perfect technology, but we need to use it in a way that helps us. So I think one of the first things that generative AI that we see today can help in bringing up information so that we don't have to search too many places, and able to limit the scope of information that we search. So that would definitely help. Instead of calling people, trying to get information, right? We get out. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that behind generative AI, there has been a lot of AI initiatives behind the scenes, and they are not so in the forefront, because the forefront of AI and the super AI thing is covering a lot of the airspace, right? There's a lot of innovation in, say, medical technology, where what is called machine learning and narrow AI has helped to identify or begin to identify diseases before they happen. Right. So these are not the GPTs, they are more very structured machine learning type AI that's coming. I'm using very common language, right? These are a bit more technical. And those areas are seeing some very interesting developments. For example, if you look at, there are AI that have studied enough images of say, MRIs to start to understand and help doctors predict say, cancer and overcome them before they get into cancer. So I think it's a very exciting space. We need to be very close to the pulse of AI development, and we have to implement it. But based on what I said just now,
sure,
what problem do you want to solve? Not what technology you want to put. Okay, and as governments, I think we have one more level of responsibility, which is to be able to govern the application of AI, because AI talks about the fundamental AI is actually data. Where does the data come from? Who owns the data? And it goes into a lot of discussions about data governance, data privacy, and to an extent about our own personal security as well. So we need to think about this. And there are certain governments in Europe, for example, in Denmark, have to begin to look at giving back to the citizens the rights of their faith. So people don't just go and take the pictures, steal the pictures, and there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of concern from creative producers like musicians, songwriters, who are trying to come out, become creative from their being, and that's taken away by AI and say, I create a song for you, and this, So I think there are this thinking that governments need to understand, which means they need to understand more about technology, they're more about AI, and what's happening around the world before they jump into using AI for everything. So this is another layer government is thinking
Interesting area indeed. How do you see it? I understand that you've totally, when you come in, that you must have studied the region, and for the Pacific, we're sort of behind when it comes to technological advancement. People worry that AI will eventually take over jobs. But what is your take for the region, for this particular region that we are in?
Yeah, I mean, this is a mantra, okay? And then, of course, AI companies will say, we are not taking over jobs, we are creating new jobs, okay? I think the reality that we can see today is that some jobs are being taken away because it has improved efficiency, right? It has also showed that new jobs are created. There are a lot of papers written about this. I won't comment so much, but what I would like to say is that from an AI perspective, AI is artificial intelligence, okay? From a job perspective, what AI stands for me is actual intelligence, right? What is your actual intelligence? What's your core skills and capacity? What's your core creativity that you can hold, that will not be taken away? Repetitive thinking, repetitive jobs, and all. So it will force people to think about, hey, what am I good at? What can I build to become better? What are my potential that I can offer to society? So in certain areas, we can see, like I'm from Malaysia, I'm seeing a huge growth, in the creative scene, art, using pencil, paper, and people are going back to that because they see something real. They want to connect with people. So I think if we think about ecosystems that allow people to connect again with each other, this is where I think Fiji and Pacific nations, if you think deep enough, the possibility of leapfrog is there, because you don't have the legacies holding you back. Old technologies hold you back. You have opportunity to move to move forward and leapfrog. This is where I would appeal to individuals, budding entrepreneurs, to think deeply, to discuss, to talk. I'm happy to talk to entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs to explore ideas, okay, and see what we can come up, because there's so much rich culture, diversity. From the economic point, there's so much local, resources that is ready to be shared with the world. How do we do it? What they are? I think these are questions for the government to think about. Then how can technology be applied to expand on that?
And it would be interesting to see how people work with AI to develop what the skills that they already have to, start business and all those things. Mr. Sun, on that note, we will just go on another break, and when we return, we will continue discussions on digital transformation.
Thank you.
Good evening once again. If you've just joined us this evening, thank you for joining us. And again, we have Mr. Sun with us in studio this evening, an experienced entrepreneur and with experience particularly in the digital space. Mr. Sun, we were talking about artificial intelligence and how it has developed and how it has changed the landscape in the digital arena. For governments and organizations, even individuals, what are some of the suggestions for safeguards that needs to be put in place when developing or implementing or even adopting AI?
Yeah, thank you. Very good question, very important question. First of all, for using AI today, when I say AI today, meaning we are talking about the chats and the GPTs, the generative AIs today. Now, we need to understand that whatever we give to the chatbots is taken by them, it's free. But in reality, nothing is free. Whatever you give is taught by them. So that's, if you read the terms and conditions, agreement, knowledge which nobody reads, but I've read one of the AI companies or the generative AI companies, they even says that I have the right to take whatever data you input. I even have the right to take your keystrokes, how you capture your keystrokes, right? And they hold that data. So have an awareness of that first. Okay, don't just give free. And the important part is that, let me give you an example. Some months ago, there was excitement that a particular animation style, very popular animation, Japanese animation style, was floated out on one of the GPT companies. And it says, yeah, you give me your face, I will create a, animation style of image of yours. What does that mean? It means for you, oh, I have a nice thing I can share with people. But for the company, he has collected maybe 60, 100 million faces that they can put into their learning, and they're going to sell it back to you. So that's something I don't agree, right? Personally, right? I think there has to be some understanding in that. So I put out a posting that said, don't give your face.
These are the risks that
These are some of the risks
that comes with engaging with these kinds of applications or technology without reading or accepting the things. I mean, how you need
the
to be
terms
using.
And conditions. Yeah. Also, if I may interject here, look, I think it's going around the internet. People are saying that data is the next oil, gold and valuable, right? Yeah, to these companies, they are taking all the data and finally sell it back to you and other people, right? They are monetizing your data. In fact, you are your data. Like I'm standing here, I'm saying something. Who am I? When the TV captures me, it goes into social media as a video. That's data, right? So a lot of people, organizations are trying to cleverly pick it up. For example, some years ago, a social media company says, oh, put a picture of you 10 years ago and 10 years now, see how much you have changed, share with your friends. Oh, the social media company happily collected. Now I understand trend. I know how people change in their facial, in their development over the 10 years. And you freely gave it away. So that's something that we need to be aware. So for companies who are involved in AI, I think there has to be a level of ethics, and this is something that is beginning to be a big conversation in many circles, in ethical AI, ethical usage of technology, and some governments have started to come in, which is rightly so, when you think about that. So these are things that we really need to be aware of as developers, as users. So I'm also, on one side, I'm an entrepreneur, encouraging technology usage and implementation. On one side, I have another organization that talks about
that advocates on the wise use
the ethical and proper usage of these technologies. That's why I always go back to the question, what problem do you want to solve, you know, when you use technology? So yeah, please have this awareness, have this understanding, the basic implement the basic role of government is to put up things like Data Protection Act. Almost every country has started to put up, you know, there are international frameworks that looks at this. So I think we are moving in the right direction. Sometimes technology providers move faster,
right,
which we can't cope. So I think we need to bridge that gap. So we have to be aware of that. Yeah.
And governments as well need to be on the lookout if local businesses are going to be developing AI applications on these certain things, like terms and conditions of how they're going to be operating. On that note, Mr. Soon, I will just briefly talk about some of the challenges you think small island nations face when it comes to digital government transformation. Can you tell us some of those challenges that you've seen in the region?
I think, yeah, the very good question again. I think, you know, the challenge with technology today is that the assumption is one size fits all, and I think that's wrong. Okay, if it works for a big country like Fiji, with close to 1 million people, and you try to transpose this into a country of 20,000 people, you may not need to do exactly, but the mindset is that, oh, I want to be like them. I want to put this. And some people look at, oh, I want to be like certain Asian country, or I want to be a certain European country. I think first thing is we need to be able to contextualize and localize the technology for your needs. So that's first thing, first challenge to actually break the mindset. Second is obviously resource. You know, if you go to a country that has 20,000 people against 1 million people, obviously resources are different, okay? And the other big challenge is infrastructure. You know, to run a application on a data center, whether the infrastructure, whether you are a big, large population or small population, you need the same structure. You know, so it's also cost. So balancing all that, what are the possible solutions? We need to really think deeper. It's not just about, oh, I have money, I'm going to build, right? And also, while you're doing that, what about data sovereignty?
Right.
You know,
very important.
These are things that are in many people's mind that is coming out right now. I feel that there needs to be more discussions, more sharing, more opportunities to collaborate. I think from certain levels of digital adoption, I think not the whole thing, at certain level of digital adoption, it would be really interesting to have an idea of a Pacific digital initiatives, where there are some level of shared resources across, and yet maintaining certain levels of sovereignty. Yeah. So how to go about that? We need to think as a group, you know, and I that in the recent PIF, I think PIF had a conference, a gathering of the nations, of the communication ministers from different countries, and I saw that starting to come out, and I think that's really good.
Yes,
that's interesting. Yeah.
So you're saying partnerships is important, but sovereignty is also very important.
Balance.
On that note, Mr. Sun, we will go on another break, and when we return, we will continue discussion. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us tonight on Your Voice. We continue discussion with Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun, you've also ventured into para excellence, if I'm correct. How will this make a difference in the Pacific?
Well, let me introduce this a little bit. This is something very new. Friends and partners have came together to form a new organization. It's called the Praxellence Center. It's a non-profit. Okay, its aim is to promote. Okay, praxellence is a combination of two words. You won't find it in the dictionary.
Right.
Praxis and excellence. Right. Praxis means the practice, the implement. Excellence is, you know, the impact that we want to achieve. Perfect. So how do we do excellent implementations is what we are focusing on. And we saw, not just in the Pacific, but in many countries that we have worked, implementation is a challenge. We have good ideas, good technology. They come in, you know, after some time, system doesn't work. The implementation is tough work. So the Praxellence is aimed at doing four things, a couple of things. One is capacity build to enable good practices such as governance, change strategies, processes innovation in what do you call it, in a non-profit environment. And second thing is to look at exchanges, how other countries are doing things, and so we want to enable knowledge sharing and capacity building for different countries to exchange on a person-to-person level, right? So you can expect to see a few papers and research notes coming out. On that note, we're going to release one paper very soon on ID, digital ID or national ID strategies, learning from one country with another. And the last part is to provide advisory. Okay. So we are starting this because we want to have this practice as an independent practice and let the technologies grow by itself. So we're able to, in a way, check and balance, and in a way, it's also help technologies enhance themselves, enhance the technologies with good outcomes, with good deliverables. Yeah, so that's coming very soon. In fact, the organization has just been incorporated. We have many friends in the industry coming together
that are working together on this.
And very soon we will also open to people to come in as members. Our primary target would be governments and organizations. So government servants, civil servants can come in as individual contacts and members and access our soon to grow repository of knowledge data bank, knowledge base, you know, and we want to give it out as freely as possible to many people.
Just for the record, are you working with the government on this national ID that you highlighted for Fiji, or is that something that's yet to be discussed?
No, I'm not.
You're not
involved at the moment. Although we did some work in the digital Fiji part. Okay. Yeah,
but not for this one. Okay, Mr. Sun, if you were advising Pacific leaders starting their digital journey, what would be your first piece of advice for them?
Look at processes. Look at fundamental initiatives, and build strong foundation for system to grow, for systems to be able to expand. While we are looking at this, don't think too hard. Sometimes we just have to go and do it.
Yes.
Yes, you know, those fundamental initiatives. Yeah, you know, just do it. Right.
How do you see the role of private sectors in supporting governments in their digital journey, or the government initiatives?
I think first of all, government digital initiatives is for the people, right? So definitely a lot of exchange, feedback, consultations, working together with the private sector, understanding their needs, and private sector, you know, being open and sharing would be a very good. I mean, a partnership is important in this case. Yes.
Maybe you can tell us what's your vision for the Pacific in the next at least maybe 10 years.
I mentioned that just a little bit just now. My little vision and dream, if you can, is to have to implement a concept called digital Pacific, where at a certain level there's a lot of collaboration and sharing of resources, technologies, and or even opportunities to help grow economies, to help people advance their potential and able to drive this to the whole world. So that's my little dream. If I can support in any way, that would be exciting.
Is there any other new venture that you were looking into?
Okay. I'll mention a little bit. I'm venturing into AI, not so much of the generative AI, but into healthcare. And we have a few friends that we have made some investments into some healthcare tech, digital tech. I'm also looking at how AI can innovate education and learning. Yeah, and that's something that not many people are talking about. So yeah, I'm venturing to that area as well. Yeah.
I think education is quite an important sector to delve into when it comes to AI, because we've seen it, we've heard it, that our education ministry is trying to push for the use of AI technology, but not really to the extent whereby everything is done through AI, because that would be disruptive. How exactly do you see the role of AI in education?
Rather than role of AI, because AI is evolving, I would say what's the role of government and parents. I'd rather talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. I think what governments are doing, Fiji government is doing, is correct. We have to look at how AI come into our schools, come into learning. And parents, they should think about that as well. But what is important, I think, is we need to have two tracks. One track, what can we do now, and one track for the future. So there has to be, some narrative discourse and discussion in that space to look at what education will be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Because we are going to talk to people who are 16, 17 now. In 5 years, they probably get married.
Right.
In 10 years, they probably have children. And we cannot preserve old style out of tech. Non-innovated education
because
system.
it will continue to evolve.
Yeah, continue. So someone needs to look at what's ahead. So governments are challenged now to become more visionary and to think about that. And I hope that this will happen in the Pacific. And this is the opportunity, because you are new. You have the opportunity to leapfrog. Yeah.
So the opportunities are there. What's important is how we look into those opportunities and take advantage of digital and other innovations that are there, but use it in the right way and do it for the right purpose. On that note, thank you so much, Mr. Sun, for being here tonight and for your insights into digital the digital arena. On that note, that's all for Your Voice tonight. A big winakabalewu to KV Sun for sharing his insights on how technology can shape our future. Join us next week as we continue the conversations that matter. Until then, I'm Apeni Songgradogo. Good night.